Miraculous rescue. 8-year-old girl pulled from sewer during severe flooding in China. A frightening mishap. During torrential rains that slammed southern China's Guizhou province, an 8-year-old girl was headed home from school on June 23rd, 2025. While crossing a street, she lost her shoe in the escalating floodwaters. In an attempt to retrieve it, she slipped into a submerged drainage culvert, carried away by the fierce current of rain-swollen sewage tunnels. Trapped in the depths, the young girl became wedged deep inside the underground culvert, approximately 32 feet, 10 meters below the surface. For over 7 hours, she clung to a metal bar as she battled darkness, freezing cold, and the terror of rising waters. Firefighters later praised her mental strength, saying she fought against the pitch-black darkness, coldness, and constant fear with amazing calmness and perseverance. The rescue operation. First responders and rescue teams were mobilized promptly, arriving at the location and pinpointing where the girl was trapped. Through coordinated efforts, they managed to extract her after more than 7 agonizing hours underground. Exhausted and drenched, her rescue was nothing short of miraculous. Incredible survival. Remarkably, once brought to the surface, the girl showed no major injuries, despite being wet and cold. Medical personnel reported she was shaken but physically intact, an extraordinary outcome given the ordeal. A wider emergency response. This dramatic rescue unfolded against the backdrop of a widespread weather disaster. Since June 17th, torrential rains inundated multiple southern provinces: Guizhou, Guangdong, Guangxi, and Hubei. This triggered evacuations of some 80,000 people and caused at least 6 deaths from floods and infrastructure collapses. In Guangxi province, floodwaters surged to roughly 4 meters, 13 feet above safe levels along the Liu River. Even as authorities warned and prepared for a looming tropical cyclone that could worsen the flooding, climate and infrastructure implications. Experts point out these extreme weather events are growing more frequent. Rural areas, which often lack robust drainage and flood infrastructure, are being hit especially hard. There are urgent calls for long-term investments in water management systems. Footing that damage from similar events might only intensify as climate change progresses. It's heroism, resilience, and the need for preparedness. A young survivor. Her resilience under such dire circumstances is extraordinary. Exceptional rescue efforts. Local firefighters and teams displayed commendable efficiency. Broader crisis. This near tragedy highlights the severity of climate-fueled floods in rural regions. Action imperative. Authorities are being urged to bolster infrastructure, early warning systems, and emergency response to better protect vulnerable communities.